Hello everybody, this is Germ, and this is a squad deathmatch in Battlefield Bad Company 2, but that's not really what we're talking about today. The topic of the day is tips for new college freshmen. Now, hold on. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, alright dude, you've missed it. I started going to college like a month ago, so why are you making this now? Okay, this was on purpose, I promise. This is not me being extremely lazy or extremely late. I do know when college starts. I graduated from college recently. The point of this post is by now, if you're in college, you've probably completed about your first month. Maybe you're only 3 weeks in, maybe if you had to go early for something, maybe you're 5 weeks in. But you've been at college for about a month now. And for a lot of you who are freshmen, it may not have been exactly what you were expecting. That doesn't mean it was terrible, that doesn't mean it's amazing, but chances are you had some ideas or some preconceptions about college that may not have been completely accurate. Or, you know, you just realize life has changed a little bit. This wasn't exactly what you thought it was going to be. Maybe it's better, maybe it's worse, maybe you're not really sure. But in any case, I thought maybe I could share some tips, tricks, some help, some of my perspectives on how to do well in college. Now, why should you listen to anything I have to say? And that's a very valid question you might be asking yourself. Well, you know, I wasn't amazing at college. Like, I wouldn't say I was a 4.0 student or anything like that, but I did well in college. You know, my grades weren't always the most amazing, but I worked hard, and overall I would say I did well. I graduated college in 3 years, and I've gone on to work a job in my major, and I'm only 21 years old, so my plan has worked out pretty well so far, and it wasn't anything incredibly difficult or some big huge secret. It was just some couple little tips and tricks that I'm going to share with you guys to help you through college. And if you're a sophomore or a senior or something like that, you might be able to get something out of this too, or you might be able to agree with me. Alright, my first tip is keep going to class. Now, this probably sounds like a no-brainer. Or to some of you, this sounds like, no, that's stupid, this is college, I don't have to go to class. And you know what? In college, you don't have to go to class. That's actually kind of the beauty of it. Even classes that have a mandatory attendance policy, you're not going to get in quote-unquote trouble for not going to class. No one's going to come find you and put you in detention or anything. They have attendance policies because they want you to come and learn the material. And if you don't come to class, you might get a little bit of a deduction on your final grade. It might be kind of a big deduction on your final grade, depending on the class or the professor. Or nothing might happen depending on your college, you know, your professor, your class, everything like that. But I recommend keep going to class, because when you get a month or so in, it can kind of feel like your classes hit the swing of things. You know, maybe you came to college and you had big plans. You were going to romance all the pretty fair maidens. You were going to be the quarterback of the football team, and you were going to be the drum major, and you were going to own the most comic books, and you were going to become the Pokemon champion on your dorm. And maybe that hasn't all worked out. Maybe you just feel like you're totally overwhelmed and you're like, you know what? I just can't make it to this class. I just can't do it. Okay, let me talk to you a little bit. You can go to class. You're at college to learn. You're not at college to stay for a couple years, just get a diploma and leave. You're not proving anything by just making it through college. This is not like high school where you're just trying to survive till you graduate. No, in college you actually need to learn, because this is your career. I mean, if you're going to college and you don't plan on using any of the stuff you're learning right now for your career, you need to switch majors. You need to switch career tracks, because it's kind of a waste to pay all this money to go to college if you're not going to get anything out of it. You are not proving anything to anybody if you do not use what you've already paid for. I mean, there's no advantage to paying for your education and then not going to class. It's really pretty easy. So just go to class. Also, even if you don't agree with that, there's something else kind of important why you need to keep going to class. Professors have a tendency to hand out little assignments, and the last thing you'd want to do is to not be in a class where the professor hands out some easy, stupid little assignment like, you know, write a one-page write-up on this, or read this next chapter or two, we're going to have a quiz on it next class. If you weren't in class, you might not have known that. Now, all that's real little stuff. Maybe it doesn't matter at all for your grade. Maybe it matters just a little bit. But how stupid are you going to feel if you get to the end of the semester and you have a really crappy GPA, or you get like a B or a C in a class that you could have gotten an A in, just because of stupid stuff like that, because you didn't show up to class and you got docked 5 points, or you missed a bunch of the quizzes and got docked another 5 points or something. I mean, come on. Don't do that. Give yourself the best chance to succeed. Just go to class. All right, the next tip for you. Watch your health. Now, I don't know about your dorm, but the dorm I lived in, sometimes it felt like a barn. Like I'd come home in the middle of the winter, the apartment door, it was kind of like an apartment style dorm. The apartment door would be wide open, there'd be food laying all over the counters, the dishes haven't been done in a week, the refrigerator is full of weird moldy stuff that's growling at you when you open it. And it's kind of like living in a barn if the barn was full of aliens who had never learned how to take care of anything. That's what my dorm felt like a lot of the time. And if this is the same case for you, guess what? You're living in a breeding ground for germs. Yay! So coupled with that, you're going to be eating school food. And unlike high school, you're probably going to be eating school food for pretty much every single meal. And it's nice sometimes to have the convenience of having the cafeteria cook the food for you. Sometimes it's not nice because the cafeteria food may or may not be any good. And even if it is good, that doesn't mean you need to be eating all of it all the time. In my college, the best thing in the cafeteria was the pizza. Now, I don't mean that to say my college had crappy food. They actually had pretty good food. But the pizza was just awesome. It was out of this world. They made it right there. They had like a little pizzeria set up. They cooked it on stone hearths, stuff like that. I mean, this was nice. And because of that, I ate a lot of pizza. I ate pizza at least once a day, most days out of the week. And while you're probably thinking, wow, that's awesome. I mean, eating pizza every day, it could be a lot worse. And yes, it could be a lot worse. But what you may or may not know about pizza is it's not good for you. It's actually really, really bad for you. And if you eat a ton of it, you're going to gain weight. And it's a lot of dairy and stuff and white sugar or white flour to be pumping into your system, and it's going to really open up your immune system to getting yourself sick. And the same can be said for a lot of other food. Just because there's fried rice and or fried chicken every single night does not mean you have to eat it. Watch your health. I mean, have a salad. If the salads make you sick, like they did at my college because they were sprayed with something to keep them fresh, don't eat the salad. Find something else to eat. I mean, find whatever is going to be as healthy as possible and eat that. Don't ruin your health over something as stupid as eating pizza every day. Also, sleep some. I mean, come on. You do not need to be staying up all the time. It's really tempting to do when you're a freshman because you don't have nearly as much work to do. And if you think you have a lot of work to do now, trust me, you don't. You'll figure that out later when you get up into the higher classes. But don't stay up all night. Make sure you're getting at least like 6 hours of sleep a night. I don't think that's unreasonable, especially given all the free time you're probably going to have while you're at college. And that brings me to my next point, which is find some time to relax each day. Now, I don't care how busy you are. You can find a little bit of time. I'm not talking about a couple hours. I mean, if nothing else, find 10 or 20 minutes out of the day where you stop working, no matter what. Stop working, read a book, watch YouTube videos like this one, or watch music videos, listen to music, just hang out with friends, go sit out, in the common area and talk to somebody for a couple minutes, just something to unwind. I remember what I did pretty much every single night of my senior year was at 11 o'clock, 10 or 11 guys from my dorm, not all seniors, some juniors, some of them were even sophomores and freshmen. At 11 o'clock, we stopped what we were doing, no matter what, and we turned on Battlefield 2. And that's part of the reason I have such fond memories of the Battlefield franchise, and I have such a strong emotional connection to it, was it got me through a lot of really rough nights at school where I was just swamped with stuff to do. I was just tired beyond all belief. It gave me a little bit of an outlet, even if it was not for a very long time. Maybe it was only for like half an hour, maybe only 20 minutes. It gave me a little bit of an outlet. I got to go shoot people. I got to hang out with my friends, talk on TeamSpeak. It was just a nice, kind of relaxing time. And it made a huge difference, and you need to do something like that. Trust me, it is a very, very good decision. Don't waste your meal points or your meal plan. Okay, it depends on your meal plan at college. Mine was I got 500 meal points, basically think meal dollars, and then I got like 5 meals a week at the cafeteria, or one of the cafeterias around campus, and I could spend that however I wanted for the whole semester. 5 meals a week, 500 points total. And while that's pretty great, It can also be pretty bad because a lot of my friends would spend a lot of their points really early. Like the first couple weeks on campus, they were big spender. They were taking girls on dates to the on-campus coffee bar. They were just buying snacks between every single class. They were eating at the most expensive restaurant on campus every single night. And then midway through the semester, they run out of meal points. And for the rest of the semester, they're eating like one meal a day or a meal a day and some ramen or something like that. Don't do that. I mean, plan ahead a little bit. If you have like 500 meal points, how many weeks are you going to be there? About 15 weeks? Cool. Plan on spending 30 meal points a week. And then at the end, you'll have an extra 50. You can just go crazy the last week and spend it on stuff. I mean, don't run out of your meal points. It seems like a really obvious thing, but you'd be amazed how many people did that. So if you're a month in and you've already spent like a third or a half of your meal points or used up a bunch of your meals at the cafeteria, slow down. Get it under control now, or you're going to have problems later. It's okay to miss home. Yeah, I know, you're an adult. You're at college. You know, it's time to be your own man or your own woman. You're going out into the world. But it's okay to miss home, especially if you've been away from home for the whole month. You haven't gone home to visit at all. It's okay. Call mom, call dad. I'm sure they miss you. They want to hear from you. It's okay to miss your brothers, your sisters, your friends back home. I mean, the crowd you hang out with. It's okay. Tell them that. I mean, you don't have to act like you're tough and that it doesn't affect you. Because you know what? Most of your older friends have already been through the exact same thing. It's okay. I promise. And, you know, plan a trip home. Start planning it now. You don't have to wait till Thanksgiving if you're able to go home. And, you know, if you're not able to go to your house, make a friend on campus. See if you can go home with them for the weekend when they're going. You know, maybe you can meet some new friends or a new family that you can kind of hang out with while you're in school. I met a couple families like that I'm still good friends with. You know, they kind of consider me to be a surrogate child just because I befriended them and came over to their house or came home to them, so to speak, to visit a lot during college. It's nice. You need that. You need a little bit of a break from school. You know, you need to get away from it all some of the time. So it's okay. It's also okay not to miss home. You know, I was fortunate. I came from a good background. I had a really good home life. My parents, they loved me. They're still together. I had a lot of brothers and sisters. We love each other. But, you know, I'm not nearly naive enough to think that's the case for everybody. And if you had kind of a crappy home life, I'm sorry. I really, really am. It really sucks. You know, I wish there was something I could do that could have made it better for you. And I'm just really, really sorry that you didn't have the childhood that you deserved. But, you know, now that you're at college, if you had a crappy home life that you came away from, it's okay not to miss it. You know, you don't have to feel guilty. If your home was a hellhole, if it sucked, if you couldn't wait to get out of there, then you know what? It's okay. You're at a new place where no one knows all of that stuff. Maybe you have a couple friends from home who came to the same college as you, but chances are you're mostly going to be meeting brand new people. It's okay. You can make new friends. You can form new relationships. You can meet new people to be your family. It's okay if you don't miss home and you don't want to go back there anytime soon. Trust me, it's okay. And the last thing I want to talk about, guys, is don't spend all of your money. Now, I know I just talked about meal points and your meal plan. This isn't that. I'm talking about your real money. Some of you have a job, some of you don't. I personally did not have a job in college. That was just a personal decision I made. I worked during the breaks and worked during the summer. But I decided while I was at school was my number one priority, like I talked about earlier. It's not hurting anybody else if you make it all the way through and you didn't learn anything. You know, you're not proving anything. You're not sticking it to the man. You just wasted your education. And I made the decision that as much as possible, I was going to work my butt off. And I don't want to make it sound like I had an easy ride. I worked my butt off during the breaks. But during the semester, I lived off of that money, and I didn't work. But even if you are working and getting a little bit of an income, don't waste your money, because stuff's going to come up. You never know when you're going to need to buy extra toilet paper. I mean, it might be as simple as that. Or your car breaks down and you're not going to be able to go home for Christmas break. Or like one of my roommates, a very, very close friend of mine, he was leaving for Christmas break. He totaled his car 10 miles from the school. He had to get it towed and fly home for break. I mean, you want to save up money for stuff like that. Have a little emergency fund, maybe like $500 or $1,000, or if you can't do that, like $200 set aside that you don't touch unless it's an emergency, because you do not want to be one of those desperate college students that didn't plan ahead, didn't think about it, and you're just out of options. Okay, so that's some of my tips and tricks for college. Now, I might make another one of these videos in the future if I think of more things, if more stuff comes to mind. But if you guys have more questions that you want to ask to somebody who's not really a whole lot older than you, like I said, I'm only 21, but I've already graduated from college and I did pretty well while I was there. If you have questions you want to ask about college, how to do well, how to deal with professors who are jerks, how to deal with classes that you think you're going to fail, if you need to make a decision about, well, which class am I going to study for and which class am I going to let go, you know what? I can probably help. I had all kinds of ups and downs while I was in college with relationships, with friends, with school, and I would love to help you any way I can. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. This is a little bit different from what I normally do, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please let me know if you'd like me to do more things like this. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.